Attention, UK pensioners. Starting in August 2026, a major change could mean thousands of pensioners are finally allowed to stop paying 7 everyday bills completely legally. But here's the shocking part. Many people may never hear about these changes, and if you don't know what you're entitled to, you could keep paying money you don't actually have to. Imagine checking your monthly expenses and discovering that some of your biggest costs could be reduced or even disappear altogether. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's exactly why you need to watch until the very end, because one of these benefits is often overlooked, yet it could make a real difference to your monthly budget. The truth is, the rules around pensions, discounts, and financial support are constantly changing, and it can be difficult to separate fact from rumor. In today's video, we'll break down each of these 7 potential savings in simple, easy-to-understand terms. We'll explain who may qualify, what the rules actually say, and the steps you can take to check whether you're eligible. Don't assume these changes apply to everyone, though. Missing just one important detail could mean missing out on valuable support or believing something that isn't true. That's why you'll want to stay with us until the final bill on the list, because it's one that surprises almost everyone. If you're a pensioner, have a family member who is, or simply want to stay informed about the latest financial updates, this video is for you. And before we dive in, make sure you like this video so you don't miss more important updates that could help you save money. Now let's get straight into it, because this is where things become really important. If you've clicked on this video thinking, is it really possible to legally stop paying 7 different bills? You're certainly not alone. Thousands of pensioners across the UK have been asking exactly the same question. With household costs continuing to put pressure on fixed retirement incomes, even a small monthly saving can make a meaningful difference over the course of a year. But here's the catch. Not every headline tells the full story, and not every pensioner qualifies for every type of financial support. That's why today we're separating fact from fiction and showing you where genuine opportunities to save may exist, what conditions usually apply, and what you should be checking before another payment leaves your bank account. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that if they've been paying a bill for years, then they must always have to keep paying it. In reality, government support schemes, local authority assistance, age-related discounts, and benefit entitlements can change over time. Sometimes those changes happen quietly, and unless someone tells you about them, you may never realize you're eligible for help. That's exactly why staying informed is so important. Now, before we begin, it's worth making one thing absolutely clear. Whenever you hear claims that, from this date, everyone can stop paying certain bills, it's always wise to take a closer look. In most cases, support depends on your age, income, whether you receive pension credit or other qualifying benefits, your local council's policies, and sometimes even your health or living arrangements. The good news is that there are legitimate ways many pensioners can reduce their monthly expenses, but understanding the eligibility rules is the key. Let's begin with a bill that surprises many people every single year: council tax. Most retirees simply assume this is a fixed cost they have no choice but to pay forever. But that's not always true. Across the UK, there are situations where pensioners may qualify for council tax reduction or other forms of assistance, particularly if they're on a low income or receiving certain benefits. In some cases, a single-person discount applies. In others, additional reductions are available depending on who lives in the household and individual circumstances. Yet, countless eligible people never apply simply because they don't know these schemes exist. Think about that for a moment. Imagine paying a bill every month for years without ever checking whether you could have been paying less. That's money that could have gone toward groceries, heating, family visits, or simply enjoying retirement with a little less financial pressure. It isn't about finding loopholes, it's about understanding the support already available under the rules. Another area where pensioners often miss out involves prescription costs. Depending on where you live in the UK and your age or circumstances, you may already be entitled to free prescriptions or help with healthcare costs. Many people continue paying simply because they're unaware of what applies to them or assume the rules haven't changed since they first retired. A quick eligibility check can sometimes reveal savings that continue month after month. This brings us to an important point that many viewers overlook. The biggest financial losses don't always come from rising prices. Sometimes they come from benefits, discounts, or exemptions that people never claim in the first place. Billions of pounds in support go unclaimed every year across various government schemes. While not all of that is for pensioners, it highlights a much bigger issue. People can't claim what they don't know exists. That's why it's so important not to rely on rumours circulating on social media. You've probably seen dramatic posts claiming everyone over state pension age can suddenly stop paying for this or that. Some contain a grain of truth, while others leave out crucial eligibility requirements. The result is confusion, disappointment, and sometimes missed opportunities because people assume the information is either completely true or completely false. Our goal today is different. We're looking at the areas where real savings may be available and helping you understand the questions you should be asking. If you discover you're eligible, fantastic. If not, you'll at least know exactly why, and you'll avoid being misled by exaggerated claims. Now here's where things start getting even more interesting. The next bill we're going to discuss isn't one that most people associate with government support at all. Yet, depending on your personal circumstances, it can represent one of the largest household expenses you may be able to reduce. Even more surprising, many pensioners who qualify never submit the necessary application because they assume there's no help available. And what makes this next one so important is that it can have a knock-on effect on several other forms of financial assistance as well. In other words, checking your eligibility for this single area could potentially open the door to additional support you hadn't even considered. So don't go anywhere, because in the next part we're revealing the next major household cost, explaining why so many pensioners overlook it, and uncovering how one simple check could make a bigger difference than most people ever expect. Welcome back, because this is the point where many pensioners discover that some of the biggest savings don't come from earning more money, they come from making sure they're not paying more than they legally need to. As we mentioned before the break, the next household expense can have a surprisingly wide impact, especially if your income has changed since you retired. For many people, energy bills are among the largest monthly expenses they face. While there isn't a blanket rule allowing every pensioner to stop paying energy bills altogether, there are support schemes, discounts, and payments that may reduce what eligible households have to pay. Depending on government policy in force, eligibility for benefits such as pension credit and other qualifying circumstances, some pensioners may receive additional help during colder months or access supplier assistance programs. The important point is that many people assume they won't qualify, so they never check. A simple eligibility review could reveal support that eases the pressure on household finances. What's interesting is that claiming one benefit can sometimes unlock access to other forms of assistance. That's why experts often encourage pensioners to check whether they're entitled to pension credit if they haven't already done so. Even people who believe they're just above the income threshold may occasionally discover they're eligible after taking savings, housing costs, or other factors into account. That single entitlement has, in many cases, opened the door to additional support that people didn't even realize existed. Now let's talk about another expense that catches many retirees by surprise. Television licensing. This is an area surrounded by myths, outdated advice, and misunderstandings. Some people believe everyone over a certain age automatically receives a free TV license, while others assume nobody does anymore. The truth is more nuanced. Eligibility depends on specific qualifying conditions, and that's why checking the latest official guidance is so important. Relying on old information from years ago could mean either missing available support or expecting an exemption that doesn't actually apply. Then there's the issue of dental and eye care. As we grow older, regular checkups become increasingly important, but many people worry about the cost. Depending on where you live in the UK and your financial circumstances, there may be help available with certain healthcare expenses. Again, this isn't a universal exemption for every pensioner, but for eligible individuals, it can reduce costs significantly. The key message is the same throughout this video. Never assume you have to pay simply because you've always paid before. Another bill that often goes unnoticed isn't really a bill at all, it's bank charges and unnecessary account fees. Many pensioners stay with the same bank account for decades without reviewing whether they're paying monthly fees for services they no longer use. Others continue paying insurance add-ons bundled into premium accounts without realizing the benefits no longer suit their needs. Spending just half an hour reviewing your statements could reveal recurring charges that can be cancelled completely, putting more money back into your pocket every month. Insurance itself deserves a closer look. Whether it's home insurance, car insurance, or breakdown cover, loyalty doesn't always lead to lower prices. In fact, many long-term customers end up paying more simply because they never compare policies or ask their insurer whether better options are available. While you shouldn't cancel essential cover, reviewing it regularly could reduce your monthly costs without sacrificing the protection you need. Finally, let's discuss one of the most overlooked financial opportunities of all: unclaimed benefits and local council support. Every year, a significant amount of financial assistance goes unclaimed because eligible people either don't know it exists or assume the application process will be too complicated. Local councils may offer discretionary assistance, support with certain housing costs, or other programs designed to help residents facing financial pressure. These vary depending on where you live, which is exactly why checking directly with your local authority can be worthwhile. By now you've probably noticed an important pattern. None of these potential savings are about finding shortcuts or exploiting loopholes. They're about understanding your rights, knowing what assistance exists, and making informed decisions based on your own circumstances. That's a far more reliable approach than believing sensational headlines promising that everyone can suddenly stop paying a long list of bills overnight. If there's one message to take away from today's video, it's this: knowledge can be just as valuable as money. Taking a little time to review your eligibility, check official guidance, and ask the right questions could potentially save you hundreds or even thousands of pounds over time. But those savings begin with information, and information only helps if you act on it. So if you're a pensioner, or you have parents, grandparents, neighbours, or friends who may benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Encourage them to review the support available, verify what they're entitled to, and avoid paying more than they legally need to. Financial rules and assistance programs can change, so staying informed is one of the smartest habits anyone can develop. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope this video has helped clear up some of the confusion surrounding these widely discussed bills and shown you why checking your own eligibility is so important. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss future updates on pensions, benefits, and money-saving information that could make a real difference to your everyday life. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.